Hi guys, my name is Satini. Thank you for stopping by. Today's video is a quick video about my job as a healthcare assistant. So I'm basically going to tell you what goes on from 8 o'clock until 8 p.m. Actually from 7:45 until 8 p.m. after I clock in for my, once I clock in and clock out for my shift. I filmed in the bathroom, yes, because the lighting looked so good. So I was like, yes, we'll film here. I don't have any notes, so I'm just going to go shotgun with this. And if I remember anything, I'm just going to write it in the description box or pop it in the comments below. I got a lot of questions about this. That is why I am filming this, because of my previous video. Some people had questions and I thought this would be a great opportunity to address some of those questions. So first of all, my job is, I was a healthcare assistant, and then I luckily got promoted to be a senior healthcare assistant. There's not a huge salary difference. There is a significant salary difference, but it's not like, oh my god, astronomically high. But I'm going to refer to when I was as the healthcare assistant. There's just a little bit of difference between being a senior healthcare assistant and a healthcare assistant. But anyway, my work starts from 7:45 until 8 p.m. Once I clock in at 7:04, I would say I arrive at work around 7:45, and then we have handover from 7:50 until 8 o'clock. That is the general rule, that it should finish at 8 o'clock, but it can be longer or it can be shorter depending on who is giving the handover and what the night shift was like. So the handover is given by the night shift nurse who was working the night shift that night, and it's basically to tell you of any concerns, of any issues on how the residents were like the previous night. So they would basically be going through about 30 residents, going through, the profile, not the profile, like what happened last night for each resident, for at least 40 residents, I would say. But I would be not responsible for all of them that day, but then I would listen. We would all listen on to, even if they are giving the handover for a different wing, in case you need to go and help in that wing, or in case you are changed to work in a different wing. But anyway, handover goes in, we listen, and at this time I also get what is known as a handover sheet. On the handover sheet, it has the list of residents that are allocated to my care on that day, and also has the list of other duties that are allocated to me on that day. Those could be like working on the menus, being responsible for fluid charting and food and fluid chart and stuff like that. Once on the handover sheet as well, I will also find out who I will be working with today. So that is the time when I'm usually like, yay, I'm working with, maybe my favorite teammates. I know we're not supposed to have favorites, but you kind of know, people who you kind of like working with. So I kind of get an idea if it's going to be a good or a bad day. But anyway, I find out then who I'm going to work with. Even if I'm working with somebody I don't like. Sorry, ran out of storage there for a second. But anyway, even if I'm working with somebody that I don't like, I will try and power through and work with them and be positive and try my best to look at their positive and to look at their strengths and try and have a good day. But anyway, once the handover is finished, we then start to serve breakfast. So we bring on the breakfast trolleys and we serve breakfast. We then assist residents that need any assistance in terms of eating and stuff like that. Once we finish clearing the dishes, we would then capture the food and fluid chart. So one of us would capture the fluid and fluid chart, depending on how many of us are working as a team. In the team, usually it would be 3 people per wing, sometimes 4. sometimes less because we would be short staffed. So sometimes it would be 2 people in a wing, but if you have a very good teammate, it actually turns out to be a good day. But anyway, once the food and fluid chart is captured, we then take everything down and we leave it in the kitchen for them to wash the dishes. We come back to the floor and then we start morning care. So we remove all the trolleys that we will need for the day, and we start with morning care. This is when the day slowly starts to move. We take a look at the list and see what type of care we would need to provide for certain residents on that day. This is the time we also transfer residents that have mobility problems or that need to be hoisted out of the bed onto their chairs. Once that is done, we take them to the activities room. Usually they would have an activities coordinator already there, and the residents that want to go to the activities room would go there to the activities room and relax and get a cup of tea and some biscuits. And then usually it's just, the time goes so fast because there's a lot of things to do, and then before you know it, it's lunchtime. And then we take residents that want to go to the dining room, they go to the dining room. We assist the residents who need assistance with eating in the dining room or in their rooms. Once that is done as well, can I just say that in between here, pre-COVID, families would be coming in and going to visit their loved ones. There would be no restrictions, but obviously because COVID, that changed a lot. Once that is done, we would then have the day would sort of slow down a little bit. We would then start working on the menu for the next day. So we would ask residents what they would like to eat the next day, and again, food and fluid charts are captured, and we would also pay attention to any dressings that need to be changed. Throughout the shift, you're taking a look at changes in behavior. You basically still have your eye open all throughout the day. And throughout the day as well, you may have falls, you may have residents falling, and you need to ring the emergency bell for assistance. So no 2 days are the same. No 2 days are the same. Once that is done, there would be like a tea in between, tea and biscuits, and there would usually be something going on in the activities room again. In between here, we're catching our breaks, and around this time we'd go for lunch as well, which just flies by just like that. But once the lunch is finished, once we go for our lunch, we do any care that needs to be done in the afternoon, and then once that is done, it would be time for tea. They would serve tea, I think it's around 5 o'clock. Around that time, residents have tea. By tea, it's essentially supper, but for some reason it's named tea. I don't know why. But anyway, they would have supper, again, serve, assist those that need assistance. That is taken down, and then the new food and fluid charts are done. Once that is done, the food and fluid charts for us were captured on a system called the Epicare. Once that is done, it is time to do the care for the evening. And right about now, you're kind of getting hyped up that it's time to go home. You're also updating the paperwork that you've been maintaining throughout the day. That is safety checks, food and fluid charts, restraint releases, whatever documents that may be there, COVID related documents, temperature checks and stuff like that. Once that is done, it is almost time to go home. So you basically are done for the day, and then the night shift comes in, and then it's time to go home. What I would do, this was standard for me, to ease my mind and to know that everyone was okay before I left, I would walk through the entire wing that I would be working, and I would open the doors just to check that is everybody okay. The amount of times I walked in and found a resident on the floor, or found a resident almost on the floor, were just so numerous. And yeah, I always worried that somebody would fall and they would have to call me at home and be like, unwitnessed fall, do you know anything about it, did you check on your residents before you left? So I always checked. And then yeah, that would be it. And then I would clock out, and I would change and then clock out and go home. And that was more or less what my day was like. I've always said that being a healthcare assistant is a labor of love. Being a healthcare assistant, being a nurse's assistant, it's a labor of love. You need to want to make a difference in your life. If it's all about the money, you can easily get burned out and actually very, very upset about working in that industry, for a lack of a better word. But anyway, that was what my day was like. I probably forgot a couple of things that are in there. In this mix, there is fire training, random fire drills that happens, there's random meetings, there's always something going on, that although you have your schedule planned for the day, something will happen and you're thrown off schedule. But anyway, that is what more or less my day would look like. I hope that answers some of your questions on what my duties were like. I got a lot of those in my DMs, in my comment section, so I thought I would address them. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.